Hey guys, Noah from Stage 3 Motorsports, and today we're going to be doing an install on these CrystaLux G11 bulbs in the 18 to 19 Anzo headlights for our F150. Now, what we have here is an H7 bulb, and these work as the same for both high beam and low beam, so this install will cover each of those. So right off the bat, I will say that these are a nice upgrade over the factory halogens, because those of you who have these lights or have halogen bulbs in your truck already know that that yellow light output is A, a little bit dated, and B, also just not super bright and isn't great when you're driving at night for long distances or you want that extra light on the trail. So this is just a quick, easy way to upgrade it to get something a little bit better in there that's gonna have a better light output and that 6000K color temperature that's a nice clean white color. Now with all that out of the way, we'll go ahead and jump in and do an install on our 2018 here, but first I will say if you picked up these lights and you have not installed the Anzo headlights in your truck yet, that's the best time to probably put these bulbs in. So if you're considering doing that upgrade or you have the bulbs with you, make sure you go ahead and install those prior to putting them in the truck, because it will make it a lot easier for you in the long run. But if you already have the Anzo headlights in your vehicle, we're gonna show you how to put them in right now. When you come down next to your wheel well here, the only way to really access the back of the headlight once it's installed is by pulling this fender liner down and coming in from behind it. Now, if you've got a lift or jack stands and you can prop your vehicle up, it will help to take the wheel off just to give you more space. But for those of you guys that are just gonna be doing this in your driveway, then you'll just wanna turn the wheel out like I have it here, and that's gonna give you access to where we can start pulling these screws out from inside the fender liner. Now there's two right here that are positioned a little bit lower on it. There's also a push pin kind of back in the corner, and then another two that are hidden up here behind this fender flare. So we're gonna remove all those and pry this back out of the way, and that should give us the access we need. All right, and with the fender liner pushed out of the way, we have access to the back of the headlight now. And I find that sometimes with the liner kind of propped like this, it helps to clamp some vice grips on somewhere to hold it in place so it doesn't snap back and get in the way. And then from there, now we can go ahead and work on getting the back of the bulb off. So reaching in behind the headlight housing here, there's two dust caps that we can remove. You'll just rotate them until they pop and then pull it out. So that bottom one is going to expose the high beam bulb. And then if we go up a little higher, we can rotate the top one, pull it out, and that's going to expose the low beams, and then we'll be able to see the actual headlight bulb from the back. Now, as you can tell, it's extremely difficult to see what you're doing when you're working up in here, and it's going to be even harder to show you guys on camera. So what we're going to do now is actually walk over to the bench, and I have a separate headlight housing where I can show you what to do to remove the bulb, so that way you have an idea of what you're reaching for and what hand movements you're going to be making to actually change it out in the truck. But then we can actually see it on the bench, and you'll be able to have a good eye on what's happening. Now, when you come into it, the first thing you'll do is disconnect the little wiring harness off the back of that halogen bulb, and that'll just pull straight back and out of the way. Then there's kind of a spring that holds some tension on the bulb itself, and so we'll push down on the spring and release it from the back. And once that's clear, we can lift the bulb out of the little socket. Now for the bottom section, it's exactly the same. We're going to pull the harness first, get that unclipped. Then it has the same sort of spring, so we'll disconnect that, pull the bulb backwards. Now we're clear. Both of our halogen bulbs are out. So what you're going to want to do next is take your CrystaLux bulb and actually remove the collar from it. So once you pop that off, you're going to want to insert the collar first, and this is just going to help with the installation, especially once you're in the vehicle. So we're going to go ahead and lift the spring back up, position it with the tab in the right section so that the collar sits flush where it's supposed to. And then once it's in place, we'll push the spring back down, and that'll put some tension on there. Now, since we have the collar in, at this point you can actually just take your bulb and line up the little bead that puts tension through the collar with the hole that's on it, and then we'll push this through and it'll lock into place. Now, last thing you'll do is just grab your little wiring harness and take this connector with the 4 pins to go butt up to the light. We'll tighten that down. And then now we have the adapter on this end that'll connect to the power. And so we'll go ahead and just kind of tuck this ballast section into the headlight housing, reconnect the wiring just like that. We can push that in as well. Just set your dust cap on this, tighten it into place, and then do the same for the bottom, and that's all it'll take. Now that we've got all the steps walked through, let's go ahead and hop down next to the truck again. We'll pop our bulbs into the housings and go ahead and see how they look. With the bulbs in and the dust covers back on the back of the headlight housing, all you have to do now is put your liner back into place and reattach all the screws that we pulled out, and it'll be good to go. But let's go ahead and make sure these turn on and see how they look. All right, guys, well, it looks like everything works perfect. The lights look great in these ANSO housings, and there's a huge amount of light output gained here over the halogen bulbs. So overall, we're super pleased with the results. And if you guys are interested in picking up these lights for your headlights, you can head down the description below. We'll have some links there that you guys can check out, and I'll see you guys next time.